Hello students, today we are going to answer two questions. The first, what are angles? And second, how do you measure them? We are also going to give some examples. Let's go. First, what are angles? Consider these two line segments intersecting at this point. Here it is an angle. It is a geometrical figure, the angle. The angle has two parts, the inside of the angle and the outside of the angle. Okay, like in analogy, this is like the angle is like the mouth, is the mouth of the cloud monster. Okay, and we want to measure the size of the mouth. So to measure an angle, measuring the mouth means to assign a number, to the angle, to the picture. Okay, but how are we going to do this? Okay, in practice, you can use a protractor. Like in your drawing classes, you put here the protractor, you measure it, how much, and you have a number. You just assign a number to the picture. But in mathematics, we don't use a protractor. We use an abstraction, an abstract protractor, which is the circle. So let's draw here our angle, two line segments intersecting at one point. Let's draw a circle centered at this point. And now, here's the circle. We are going to make assumptions now. The circle, one entire circle, means one complete revolution. Okay? One complete revolution. Or, you can divide the circle in 360 slices. So, one complete revolution corresponds to 360 degrees. Okay? Okay, but if you assume that the circle has radius 1, recall the formula for the perimeter is 2 pi r. If r is equal to 1, the perimeter is 2 pi. So you can also say, well, 360 degrees corresponds to 2 pi. But we introduce something else so that you just don't leave a number. You say 2 pi radians. Radians. This is the measure of the entire circle, okay? And now what we are going to do is to compare your slice of pizza with the entire pizza. Just looking at it, you can see it corresponds to 1/4. So we have 1/4 of a revolution, which corresponds to 1/4 of 360 degrees, which in turn corresponds to 1/4 of 2 pi radians. 360 divided by 4 is 90. 2 pi divided by 4 is pi over 2. So we say that the number that we assign to this picture, is 1/4 of a revolution, 90 degrees, or pi over 2 radians. Okay? So here's our assignment. Let's give another example. Like this. Here's our angle, the mouth. Let's introduce our circle. This, notice, let's compare. This is a geometrical process. You see, this angle is about 50% of this, 1/2. That means that we have 1/2 of 1/4 is 1/8 of a revolution. 1/2 of 90 is 45 degrees. 1/2 of pi over 2 is pi over 4 radians. So you just assign to this angle now these three numbers. You just choose the one that you like. Okay? Let's now put to the side the geometry and just focus on mathematics. Just focus on the analytical part, the formulas. Okay? How do we convert between revolutions and degrees in radians if you just forget about the pictures? We start always with this. I'm going to give two examples. The first, the easiest one. Let's just forget about this for the moment. If you have 45 degrees and you want to convert to radians or revolutions, forget about the picture. How are we going to use just these to fill these blank spaces? let's see. 45 degrees means 45 times 1 degree. But we can look at 1 degree and say how much is this in radians. Just use this formula here. How are you going to use? Well, just look at it. 360 degrees corresponds to 2 pi radians, which means divide by 360, that 1 degree is equal to 2 pi divided by 360 radians. You just divide by 360 on both sides. You get this. Well, 45 degrees is 45 times 1 degree, but 1 degree corresponds to 2 pi over 60 radians. So it means that this is 45 times 2 pi over 360 radians. But let's do this calculation. 45 by 360 is 1/8 times 2 pi radians, which means this is pi over 4 radians. Okay? This is our answer. Pi over 4. What about the revolution? Well, you look at this equation now. You look at this equation. What does this equation say? It says that divide by 360, 1 over 360 revolutions is 1 degree. Can you see? Just divide by 360 on both sides, but now you can use 45 times 1 degree means 45 times, well, 1 degree means 1 over 360, 1 over 360 revolutions. 45 by 360 is 1/8, so this is 1/8. Okay? Let's just give one final example. Okay? Let's see. One final example. Let's consider pi. You just have pi radians. How much is this in degrees? How much is this in revolution? Forget about the picture. Just use the mathematics. Okay? Pi radians means pi times 1 radian. Look at this. How much, if you want to convert radians to degrees, use this formula. So 360 divided by 2 pi degrees is equal to 1 radian. Just divide by 2 pi here and here. You get this equation. Well, but pi over times 1 radian is pi times 360 over 2 pi degrees. This goes away. 360 divided by 2 is 180, and that's your answer, 180. Okay, finally, in revolutions, let's focus on this equation, like this. I'm going to write like this. 1 revolution is 2 pi radians. If you want to convert radians to revolutions, you just divide by 2 pi. So 1 over 2 pi revolutions is 1 radian. Okay, that means that pi times 1 radian is pi times 1 over 2 pi in revolution, which is 1/2. So this is 1/2. Okay? And that's it. Well, we have a link in the description with a longer video about these subjects, which is discusses this in much more detail. This is a simple version. I wish you good work and see you next time.